Welcome to So True. Today's devotional is entitled You Sing Harmony and I'll Sing Bass, and it's based on Revelation 19, verse 6. The book of Revelation is a very noisy book. It resounds to the clatter of the thunderbolts of God's wrath poured out upon an unbelieving world. From start to finish, it echoes to the sound of war, earthquakes, demonic beasts. Yet for all its blood and thunder, it's essentially a songbook. Let me say that again. The book of Revelation is essentially a songbook because amidst the din of a world at war with itself and God, there is to be heard songs of praise offered up to God by angelic choirs and redeemed souls. It's often overlooked that the worship of God forms the background music to the book of the Revelation of Jesus Christ. There is the anthem of the triune God in Revelation 4, verse 8. There is the creation hymn in Revelation 4, verse 11. There is the new song of redemption, Revelation 5, 9 to 10. And there is the angels' choral, Revelation 5, 12 to 14. To go on, you'll find the martyrs' canticle, Revelation 6, 10. There's the kingdom choral of Revelation 11, 15. And there is the judgment psalm, Revelation 11, 17 to 18. And then you have also the shout of the overcomers, Revelation 12, 10 to 12. There's the song of Moses and the Lamb, Revelation 15, 3 to 4. And there's the Hallelujah chorus, which we're making reference to here in Revelation 19, 1 to 6. I hope I've convinced you that the book of Revelation, at its heart, in essence, is a songbook where God is worshipped for who he is and what he does. Let's dig into this a little bit. Beginning in chapter 4 and continuing intermittently throughout this book to chapter 19, we have a series of songs around the throne of God that highlight the unchanging reality of an eternal world in which God's purpose is unfailing and Christ reigns supreme. Here's the thought. History will close, not in a whimper. History will close and crest with a hallelujah chorus, celebrating God's victory over Babylon, the Antichrist empire, sin, and Satan. We've got that in Revelation 19, verse 6. Hallelujah, the Lord our God, omnipotent, reigns. In the book of Revelation, one throne reigns supreme, a higher throne. It's God's throne. You can read about the throne in Revelation 4:2, 5:13, 19:1 to 4, just as an example. Time will tell at the end that all the great figures of history have been but actors in a drama written and produced by a sovereign God and his Son, Jesus Christ. Like Paul said, every knee in the end will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. So think about this. Amidst a troubled and tumbling world, John fixes our gaze upon a throne that stands in heaven. Revelation 4:2. A throne that's been established forever. That's what David tells us in Psalm 45, verse 6. The book of Revelation therefore reminds us that God has not abdicated his throne. It is true of life that there is much that runs contrary to God's will, but where God does not rule, he overrules. So no matter how dark the day, the Christian can meet it with a song that says, Alleluia, for the Lord omnipotent reigns. The worship we see offered before the throne of God throughout the book of Revelation is a summons to you and me right now, at this moment in history, in anticipation of Jesus' return, to live a joyful life of settled peace, and peace that comes from a knowledge that God is in control, that there is a higher throne. There is no panic in heaven, only plans. The Trinity never meets in emergency session. In the end, the godly win. That's the message of the book of Revelation. That's why there's so much singing and celebration. While parts of the book of the Revelation of Jesus Christ are rather dark and stormy, we must not miss the rainbow of a sovereign God who is worthy of our worship both now and forever. When my father-in-law came to Christ in his native Scotland, Gordon Elliott, his workmates mocked him. And here's what they said among themselves and in a mocking fashion towards him: Gordon has become a hallelujah. Well, every Christian is and ought to be a living hallelujah to our loving and sovereign God. Today, you sing harmony and I'll sing bass.